Hello, brothers and sisters in Christ. And this is for everybody, whether you are one of our brothers and sisters in Christ, or of another religion, or you don't have one at all. Because the point is, we're all human, and we're all, I'm going to say most of us, are God's children. And before you say, what do you mean most of us? Well, you have to watch my channel and several others a while to find out about what's a reptilian, what's a hybrid. You can jot those words down, hybrid, and look them up yourself. Okay, we'll go on from there. The reason that I'm making this video is not to teach about God so much, but more about man and mankind and the things we're having to go through because of the evil in this world. Now, some of you might want to turn it off right there. Maybe you're living in a bubble, and maybe you don't know much about that subject, so you think there isn't any because your eyes haven't been open to it. Okay, I'm getting to something. Some of you may have what I have. I have what's called myalgic encephalomyelitis, or chronic fatigue syndrome. And there are many other chronic illnesses that don't get a whole lot of respect. Now I'd like to read this one little short article, and I'll do my best to link it where you can read it yourself. Now this one is a publication. I'm going to pull it ahead of me, and it's called Health Rising. It comes every few days and has a good article. I don't always read them, but they're short, and I can, because my brain can't read long ones very well, usually. The subtitle is Committed to Breakthrough in ME/CFS and Fibromyalgia. You may have that one. All right. Pressure mounting is fibromyalgia caused by high pressure in the brain. It's called intracranial hypertension. Now they report on different theories. Oh, try to ignore that. It's a message for me to do something. I have timers set on that thing all day, or I would forget stuff. Okay. So we're talking about intracranial hypertension. The central sensitivity folks think that fibromyalgia is all in the brain. Not all in your head, but all in your brain. It got more respect than central chronic fatigue syndrome got, or long before. Anyway, those are certainly present. I'm sorry, let me back up. I'm very tired, and I'll explain that in a minute. The central sensitivity folks think that fibromyalgia is all in the brain. It's caused by dysregulated pain pathways. Those are certainly present. But a Flemish group has another idea. Flemish. Okay, that's European. Can't remember the country that is. Okay, at any rate, some country in Europe, I think. The pain in FM comes from the brain, but is caused by high cerebral spinal fluid pressures, which are tweaking the nerves up and down the spine. Check out the next installment in our FM and MECFS hypothesis series and this is highlighted in blue. It's a link. Pressure mounting is fibromyalgia caused by high pressure in the brain, intracranial hypertension. I'm going to try to link that for anybody interested, because fibromyalgia seems to be more common than the other. But is it? I think it's the other side of the same coin, personally. But that's just from all that I've read. Okay, now listen to this. Does anybody remember Rodney Dangerfield? And what was his famous line? Go ahead, say it. I can't get no respect. I remember it like I heard it yesterday. Now listen to this. Finally, an objective measure of fatigue, an MECFS, and fibromyalgia inquiry. Fatigue is the Rodney Dangerfield of symptoms. We can't get no respect. Studies show it can be horribly debilitating, but it still gets no respect. One reason is that the subjective tests used to measure it just don't carry much clout in the research world. A recent study, though, suggests that an objective, non-invasive test for fatigue that could even be conducted using a wearable might not be that far off. Now, I'm thinking they left a word out there, but I could be wrong. I'm thinking it should say a wearable device, but that might be implied, and I don't know that. A test like that could give diseases like MECFS and FM new respect in the research arena and give patients hard data they could use to show their friends, family, and peers the difference between normal and pathological fatigue. Find out more. And here's a link. Finally, an objective measure of fatigue, an MECFS and fibromyalgia inquiry. And I'll try to link that in the description box. All right, now why am I talking about all this? I normally teach about God, Jesus, things about Him, Bible studies, sharing dreams, visions, messages. Okay. Everything we do in life boils down to how it makes us act. Well, whether you're a Christian or not, hopefully you would prefer to act like a sane, healthy human being, right? Okay. Now I'm going to tell you what's been going on this week and why I went to the emergency room when I have swore up and down I'm not going back. And I know we're not supposed to swear. It's just an expression. I know how it is. You have this thing going on. Even when it's my seizure-like disorder, by the time I take Ativan and I get there, I've calmed down and I look like I'm fine. And they're like, what'd you come for? And it's so frustrating because this place calls them, and if I'm jerking around and can't talk, they scoop me up and haul me off, and sometimes they end up giving me something in the ambulance, and then that's all I need. Well, I can't tell them, okay, turn around and take me back. That's good. Get you some of that new cocoa with all the flavors in it. There's raspberry and caramel and all kinds. Really dolls up instant coffee, because right now I can't stand up long enough to make the other kind. Seriously. Which is why I went to the hospital. Some of you know I've swapped my anti-seizure medication from Dilantin to Keppra. Many people take it with no problems. I'm not so sure I'm going to be able to. I got dropped down to 500 twice a day, which I think is like the minimum. I don't know, I guess a younger, smaller person can take half that, but the point is, it wasn't enough. I kept having dyskinesia throughout the night, which is exhausting me. And so it caused me to have it during the day. And so I increased it to 1,000 at night. And one morning I took another 1,000. Altogether. 1,000 in the morning, 1,000 at night. He told me I could increase it as needed and try that. So it's been a trial and error, and maybe I shouldn't have increased it that quickly. The point is, now, there's a point to all this. The doctor I'm using the portal system. It's an email system, okay? None of this is on the phone. None of this is in person. I ended up having to cut it back because it caused depression. A lot of medications have on their side effect, if you develop these symptoms, notify your doctor. Mood and mental changes, depression, and others, many others. Sometimes you get a piece of paper that when you fold it open, it's really big. ME causes a lot of that. So I'm like, well, how do I know that it's, like dizziness? I get dizziness off and on. Off and on. It comes and goes. How do I know if I'm dizzy? Is it that? Or is it the ME? The point is, I went ahead and took another Effexor. Didn't want to. It increases seizures. But I did at my doctor's suggestion. Okay, so I felt mentally fine yesterday morning. Fine. But I got up, but still the exhaustion. Got up after my nap. I was so exhausted. I felt like, all through the week, this has been coming on worse and worse. I go to walk my dog. I'm in a power chair now. And I'm holding him with a leash. And I'm like wanting to fall out of my wheelchair, And I'm just like, I'm going to end up on the ground. Like that. So 4 different people, including 2 nurses, told me I need to go to the ER. Something's not right. So I did. Thinking, maybe calcium's too low. Maybe something's too high. Maybe they'll tell me I need to get off the Keppra. I don't know. I just went because I knew it was getting to the point of danger. I was going to be hurt and could be in this apartment all by myself. Okay, I want to shorten this as much as possible. After 5 hours, some blood work, chest x-ray, I guess that's about it. They said all my labs were fine. Oh, and they did the usual urine drug testing. They do it every time. You'd think after 28 years they'd realize that's a waste of money. But it gets them a few bucks from insurance, so I guess they do it anyway. So anyway, they usually don't allow me to leave unless they know a ride is coming that is a responsible ride to make sure I get taken per wheelchair to my room. It's how it used to be. This is how evil our world has become. The place reminded me of a factory where you have parts on a conveyor belt. You get there and you get put on the conveyor belt and the first person does their thing, and then you go to the next part of the conveyor belt as it rolls and that person does their thing, and then you get to, and until that conveyor belt has a spot, you sit. You just sit in the waiting room, hurting, sick, who knows. And anyway, once you're in the system, you're on this conveyor belt, and each person does their one thing, and then you move to the next thing, and then you may be taken back to your room and sit. And then you get on another conveyor belt, and they do their thing, and then they do their thing, and then you go back to your room. That's how I felt. Every time I go, I see budget cuts. I see where, okay, they're doing it this way to cut money. I see where this is saving them money. Now, long time ago, as a nurse, I knew doctors would order any and all tests they wanted, and they got them done. And insurance companies got billed, and they paid them. And they are the reason insurance companies had to start bucking. We're not paying for this anymore. We're not paying for that. We're not paying for everything you order. You order it, and you're either stuck with the bill or the patient is. You need to get pre-approval for this. You need to get... Okay, that started back in the 80s when I was a nurse. Now we are at 2018. They're allowed to do, based on your complaint, they're allowed to do this, and that. And then based on what those show, maybe they can go ahead and do this or this. If those are normal, out you go. There's no use of the brain. There's no thought. Okay, maybe it could be this. Maybe it could be that. This person can't stand up without falling down. Maybe we should admit her for observation and more testing. No more. No more. I gotta tell you, it's come right down to it. They don't care. Go ahead and fall, hit your head while you're at it, and die. I'm telling you, there's no more care in health care. They gotta call it something else, because health care is no longer there. And whatever God you choose, if anybody besides one of my usual watches this, I'm going to tell you something. You want care? Look up there. Jesus Christ is the Son of God. He came to earth to save us by dying on the cross. He lived here as a human person for 33 years. The last 3 years he spent teaching us how to love and care for one another. And he told us, if you know somebody who's sick, you go visit them. If you know somebody who's hurting and you can do something about it, you go do that. You know somebody that's hungry, you go feed them. The best of your ability. You might be poor too. Maybe all you can do is make a half a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, but do that. He said, if you know somebody in jail, go visit them. You know someone that's naked, basically has no clothes, you find a way to take them an outfit. Thrift stores are wonderful. And they don't have to be perfect. It's something to put on their body. There's a whole list of things that I could pull up and put on here. I'm already at 21 minutes, and I'm a little bit livid, if you really want to know. I'm just too tired to show it. Because every time I go, which has been 28 years now, I see less and less care. Now, the people were nice. The nurses were nice. The doctor was stoic, but nice. He wasn't mean. He wasn't degrading like the last place I went. He was real, I don't even know the word. Moving on. So the care I got was nice. But the total package was a pre-planned, like I said, based on my complaint. They did this, and this. Based on what these showed, maybe they did one more, which was the drug test, because these were negative. Which happens a lot with chronic fatigue syndrome or myalgic encephalomyelitis. Because they don't know the right tests to do. I told them right off the bat, and I had that. You know, sometimes I get really in the flesh, and I want to just say, what is wrong with these people? Well, I know right off the bat why there are so many cases of it, and Lyme's disease, and Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, where there used to be 1 out of a million. Autism's another one. They have created the precursor that makes our body's immune system worthless. Just about. Otherwise, we'd all be dead. And I've talked about it before, how they brought a German scientist, doctor, the big one from the Nazi concentration camps after World War II, and a guy from Japan, another big one, can't remember his name. They took those 2 doctors, put them in Fort Detrick, and they invented the Visna virus. Mycoplasma fermentans. They took the Visna virus and the brucellosis bacteria. They combined them. I don't know how many tries, how many ways. I didn't read all that. I just know they came up with Mycoplasma fermentans. and they got brought over here through Operation Paperclip. Now, why am I telling you all this? Because it's all part of Agenda 21 and Satan's plan to rule the world. Now we get roundabout to the cause of what I'm talking about and dealing with, and many of you, and why you have these illnesses that your doctor just can't seem to do anything about. And yes, they know how. Maybe not your doctor, but the NIH and the CDC have a cure. They know exactly how to stop it in case one of them gets it. You think they're going to cause the United States and the world to come down with these things and not know how to stop it? They invented it, so surely they know how to stop it. Oh well, I rambled on enough. And I hope those of you who don't normally watch me will just take a moment or two and do a little research. Look up Operation Paperclip. That was the title the United States gave their program for bringing over all the best evil scientists and doctors that started NASA, who started the lies about the earth being round. The earth is flat. It's in the Bible. Oh, there, I've lost you now. Okay, don't ignore me over that. Save that for later. Werner von Braun is one of the top names. They started NASA. They started the bioweapons program. They set up their camps, their offices, their laboratories at Fort Detrick and Plum Island off in New York. Manhattan? Oh, where all the rich people go in the summer. Oh, I can't remember the name of it. It's not Manhattan. It's, it doesn't matter. It's Plum Island. You can Google it. It's Plum. I had a book about it, and I gave it to my grandson because he was thinking about going in the service. I said, before you go in the service, I want you to read this book. And you see some of the stuff our service people do, are made to do, are made to be a part of. Once you enlist, you belong to them, and they can assign you to a place like Plum Island. And they can make you work with all this biological weaponry. Do you want to do that? Anyway, I'll end it here. I've just been rambling because I had to tell y'all what a big old bunch of waste of time. I do have cardiac testing ordered for Monday. I kind of thought they would keep me and just go ahead and start it. It could be my heart, which ME causes heart damage. It causes lung damage. It causes pancreatic damage, which causes a form of diabetes that they don't even know what to call it, so they call it type 1.5. Not 1, not 2, 1.5. So anyway, it's just weird. It's weird what it does to your body. So I'll let you go here. And I hope I taught something. I hope you got something out of this. Maybe y'all, a lot of you on my channel, you know a lot of this. You do. Some of you maybe could share it with somebody who has an illness that you think might be one of these that I've spoke of. And there are others. And how it came about. Why is it so prevalent? Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, Lyme's, Wilson's. Can't even remember the rest. Anyway. God bless you all. I plead the blood of Jesus over this video, the internet connection, and over each and every one of you. and all your devices so you can keep coming back. So I'll say bye for now, and I'll talk to you later. So please forgive me if I don't get to comments and emails right away. I'm doing my best to get caught up on the emails. That's what I've been doing. All right. Bye for now. Talk to you later.